Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we are going over 10 hard lessons from 100 episodes. Those things that we didn't necessarily plan for, but we had to learn the hard way.
Balancing building a successful business and being a superstar mom is hard, and yet, in today's digital world, it's more common than ever.
The question becomes, how do we successfully grow a business and children at the same time?
Join us for a candid conversation as we share our insights into marketing and motherhood. I'm Angela Reeder.
And I'm Jessie Valle. Welcome to the Marketing Moms Podcast.
Yes, indeed, everyone. We are going over those 10 hard lessons to learn from 100 episodes. And to be honest, Angela, I am going to take number 5 and move it up to number 1.
Okay. Don't
Number
blame
5.
you at all.
Being tech issues will happen. And I say this because this is literally the second time we've started recording this, because seriously, here, let me pull it up. Word for word what Angela said to me. Stupid Monday morning tech gremlins.
Yes.
Those tech gremlins are getting us. So we started this episode and literally then Angela was just gone. Like she turned black and then the sound wouldn't turn on, and so we're like restarting things, and so this is like 10 minutes past when we tried to begin recording this.
Yes. Yeah. I had to message Jessie in a panic. I was like, you froze and then you went away and then it kicked me out and then I tried to get back in and I can't see anything.
It's almost like it knew that we were recording this episode and that tech issues will happen is on the list.
Yes.
Not gonna lie, something else similar to this happened recently when we were recording episode 100, which, if you guys remember, is the really big one, our first 2-hour Marketing Moms Monthly episode. And one of the hours didn't record Angela's audio. So it was like I was having a conversation with myself. So that was one of the hardest messages to message Angela and say, we just lost an hour recording.
Yeah.
We had to redo it. Yep. And I thought to myself, redoing an hour recording, because luckily we did do the whole episode in segments. So at least it wasn't the whole thing, but it was an hour of the 2.5 hours. And I thought to myself, maybe we'll be more efficient this time. No, I'm pretty sure it ended up being longer.
Longer. We had more things to say once we had a chance to think about it.
Yeah, because if you guys remember, we had mentioned that, well, actually, I think it's something that's going to be in here that we don't necessarily always plan what we're going to say.
Right.
All right. So that is number 1 now. Not 5 anymore. It is number 1.
Not 5. Definitely number 1.
All right. Number 2 on the list is not all ideas are winners.
This one was really hard because there were a couple episodes that we were really, really excited about that just didn't do as well as we were thinking they were going to do.
For sure. Things that we might have been kind of passionate about ourselves, but for one reason or another, I don't know if it's because the topic didn't resonate with other people or we named it really bad, so we didn't convey what it was about. Sometimes that's something I didn't plan on, is that just getting people to listen is half the battle.
Yeah.
We could have, we've said that before about things like offers on your web pages and stuff. You could have the most brilliant offer in the entire world, but if you're marketing it to the wrong people, your message will never be heard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. That's definitely been like a learning experience for me, trying to figure out just the right way to title things or the descriptions and captions for Instagram posts. That was not something that I usually take on, like, as far as my business goes. I don't do a lot of that. So it was really a big learning experience for me to try and figure that stuff out, to get people excited and get people to listen.
Yeah. All right. Number 3 is going to be getting started with whatever you have. That was a learning experience because I feel like the moment I told Angela, we're doing a podcast, she started freaking out that her equipment wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
I'm just like, it doesn't matter what you have. We ended up finding her like an amazing quality $30 mic on Amazon.
Yeah. Yes, I was so self-conscious because Jessie has a little bit higher, well, a lot higher end equipment than I do, because she did a lot more video recording and things like that. So listening to especially the first couple episodes, or when we were trying to record to put our book together, I was like, oh my gosh, I sound so echoey. I sound so this, so that compared to Jessie. And I was really, really freaking out about it. But Jessie asked around and helped me out. And I have a really good, high quality, but not expensive microphone now. And that made me feel a lot better. But it was really hard for me because I was like, $30 microphone, I don't think that's gonna cut it.
It
I
totally
need all the
did.
fancy stuff, but it totally did.
Totally did. So, and that's the other thing, if we could kind of rename that, instead of just getting started with whatever you have, it's also the expensive stuff doesn't necessarily mean better stuff.
Right.
Now that we've been at this business thing for what, 7 years?
Yeah.
I'm like, I bought my really expensive microphone towards the beginning. Had I known I could spend like $100 less and get the same quality, I would have done it.
Yeah.
So price is not everything, people. Although, to be fair, it is 7 years later and this thing still works great.
Yes. Yeah.
I have no clue how long yours is going to ask, or sorry, how long yours is going to last.
Yes, that's true. So number 4, and I know Jessie and I have mentioned this before, is planning what we're going to say is just not going to happen, and we have to embrace it. We are never going to be the podcasters that like script out every episode and know exactly what we're going to say and have plans for everything. That's just not the kind of podcast we have.
Yeah. I once was listening to a podcast where someone was actually talking about how they produce their podcast. I kid you not, they literally wrote down everything and just read. They just read it. I'm like, what? We could never.
No, we could never be that organized. Or I couldn't anyway. I think if you left Jessie to her own devices, she could probably be that organized, because she is definitely the more organized of us. But I definitely could not do that. And I think if we were to read things, it wouldn't sound like us. Like, even if we wrote it and then read it on air, I don't think it would sound like us. It wouldn't be as authentic.
I am so sorry.
You're fine.
First of all, I have no idea what you just said. And we're not cutting this. Seriously, this is all part of the episode now. I just got a call from my husband because this is freaking life. Seriously, though.
I saw your face on
this
there.
This never happens. Never. It's almost like, seriously, all the stars are aligning that we're recording today. Anyway, I have to go take my daughter to school because my husband, some service guys are going to show up at our house in a few minutes, and he needs to be here, not me. So,
okay.
Angela, can we record this in a few hours?
We sure can.
I'm so sorry. We'll message you. Sorry, everyone. Okay. Not that you care, because we'll cut back on here in a second, and you can just listen to the rest of the episode. Oh my gosh! Like, seriously, it has to. Okay. We'll be right back after this, taking my daughter to school messages. If you're enjoying this extremely real and candid conversation, please head over to marketingmomsmonthly.com to sign up for your first free month of our Marketing Moms Monthly membership, where you can get this in much more than 10, 20-minute segments, plus seeing us in chat, getting your specific business and motherhood questions answered, and all the community that goes with it. So head over to marketingmomsmonthly.com for your first free month. We'll see you there. Okay, we are back. And number 5. We're just going to jump into it.
Yes.
In case anybody was wondering, my daughter made it to school on time. We're good. It is a few hours later. Angela and I finally had schedules sync up again. And this just goes back to actually a little bit of what we're rolling into right now, which is number 5, planning ahead for time off or busy family schedules. Oh no, Angela froze again. I swear to God, this has been a day. A day! Why are you frozen, Angela? Okay, I'm going to pause it. Okay. Take 4. That's how I'm feeling about this. I mean, you know what's funny is that all of this is happening in the perfect episode.
Oh, yeah. If there were ever an episode for this to happen.
In our last 100 episodes, it has never been this bad. I mean, maybe we have to restart once. Maybe someone was talking and their mic was actually muted. Something ridiculous. But we have never had this many issues. And maybe it's because it's a Monday. And you know, like you said, the gremlins are out to get us.
Heck, gremlins on Mondays.
Oh boy. Anywhoosie. We do actually plan ahead, usually enough time to record out a few weeks because, and this is number 5, because we need to plan for time off, busy schedules, kids getting sick, we get sick. That's what happened this week. We were actually supposed to record this episode 5 days ago, but Angela was like, so my voice is gone. There's that.
Yeah. I'm dying and I need a break.
She did say that. She's like, I think I'm dying. And I'm like, okay, don't worry. Because we build in time, we're like, we have time. Yeah. So technically it's still a couple days before this episode comes out. So we're not like scrambling. But especially when we hit summertime, we like to get like 4 episodes ahead if we can. Like, I know that's like a month. Typically, we record on 1 week ahead. So it's not too far ahead because we know things happen in life and we don't want to be so far ahead where it doesn't feel real. But also when we know big vacations and stuff are coming up, we do plan for that and record ahead a little bit. And we do sit down maybe once a month or so and figure out what we're going to talk about for the month. So like we have planned what next week's episode is going to be and even the week after that. I don't think we have past the next 2 weeks, but we did sit down and do several in a row and be like, this is what we're talking about. This is what we're talking about. This was what we're talking about.
Yeah. We just don't script it.
Exactly. We don't, we figure out what we're going to talk about mostly, unless it's like last week's episode where I was like, I have something to talk about. And Angela, here we go. Those are always fun to toss in there. But because we're doing this more of a realistic way, that's our style. That's not everybody's style. Like we were talking about on the last one, right? Some people script it completely exactly what they're going to say. But we at least plan ahead for when we're going to record, even if we're not scripting exactly what we're going to say. We'll do bullet points. Like today, we have 10 bullet points for our hard lessons. They're literally bullet points. We haven't talked about what that means. I don't actually know what's going to come out of Angela's mouth, nor she mine. But we know at least
it's fun.
Exactly. That's the direction we're going. So be sure to plan ahead for the time off. I would say in the past 2 years that we've been doing this, we've been late releasing an episode maybe 2 or 3 times, really not that many.
Yeah.
But there have been several times where we're recording literally Wednesday morning for it to go out in like an hour.
Yeah.
That has happened and it sucks.
Yep.
So we learned the hard way. We like to record. We typically record on Wednesdays too. So we record on Wednesday for it to come out the next Wednesday. Or like today, that didn't happen. So we're recording on Monday and this comes out on Wednesday. So yeah, just having a cadence that you can get into really helps.
Yeah, I think at least one of those times it came out late, it wasn't because we hadn't recorded it. It was because we scheduled it to come out on the wrong day.
I remember that. I'm like, why can't I get to this episode? And it's like, oh, we scheduled it to come out on Thursday. Tricky calendars. But yes, that was a funny one. But that only happened once, I will say. Yes. So that was pretty good on our
only
part,
once.
I think. Okay. Number 6. This one truly was a hard lesson. You have to take a stance. You have to understand, and what I mean by that is you have to understand that not everybody is going to love exactly everything that you say. Everything that's come out of our mouth, not everybody's going to agree with. And I think Angela and I, being service providers, are very big on being people pleasers.
Yeah.
And that has been one of the hardest things, is that there are times we have to take a stance. We have to say our position, even knowing that it's against what some people believe.
Yeah.
So case in point, actually last week, so we put up our episodes also on YouTube, and someone commented over there and asked us if we were pro or anti MLMs. And we had to take a stance. Like, I wasn't just going to not answer them. And of course, I decided to go the route of saying that we support any type of business that's right for you and your family. And I say that because I know MLMs are great for some people and they are not great for other people. But regardless, Angela and I had to take a stance. Yeah. And we had to let you, our listeners, know, are we going to support you if you happen to have an MLM business, or do we think that's ridiculous and we're totally against them, which some people are. But we took a stand and we said, no, we are not against them. If that's what's right for you and your family, we are with you and we support you. So it's something we had to take a stand on. And I have found that there are other things too that we have to at some point take a stand on, even if it's against what other people think.
Yeah.
So I think that was a surprising lesson, I think.
Yeah. That was definitely one I didn't expect.
Mm-hmm. All right, number 7. Just because you've always done something one way doesn't mean you have to continue. This one was big, I would say, back in October, November of 2022. So we had already had our podcast for a little over a year. And if you have listened to any of our beginning episodes in that first year, you'll notice that they all start with Marketing Moms Talk, blah, 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 blah.
Something.
And around November-ish, I think, is when we changed to get rid of the Marketing Moms Talk, and we just go straight into titling our episodes exactly what we're talking about. And you know what? I think that has helped people understand quicker what our episodes are about, instead of just having that cutesy little catchy Marketing Moms Talk, da-da-da-da-da. It worked for us in the beginning, but we outgrew it. And our marketing got better and our podcasting got better. And we decided it was time to try a different tactic. And we had to let go the way we started in exchange for something new. And it didn't make it bad. But just because we started that way didn't mean we were locked into doing it forevermore.
Right. Yeah. And actually, I think I can tease a little bit that we have some more changes coming up that we had to talk about. Again, just because we've always done something one way doesn't mean we have to keep doing it. So we have some changes coming up soon.
Whenever we get to them.
Sometime. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and it's not only just about, it could be anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Angela and I, there was a time where we changed our intro and outros. Like we re-recorded them. And you know what? We might re-record them again. The way that if you are doing a podcast, or even in your business or in motherhood, literally this is anything in life. If you decide that you're going to start doing something different, it's okay to let go of the old way.
Yeah.
It's not always being loyal. It's just being stubborn.
Yes. And it doesn't mean you were doing it the wrong way. It just means that you're going to try a different way.
I'm all for efficiency.
Yes.
That's usually why I change something anyway. All right. Number 8. Sometimes you just need guests. Now, this one specifically is for podcasting. I remember in our first year, we brought on Sarah Morrison around the end of the year to talk about the word of the year. That was a really great episode. And then I think it was also around November, so almost a year later, we brought on 3 lovely women from our Marketing Moms community to talk about their experiences in business and in life and being a mom at the same time. And those were really popular episodes too. And it's because when you bring a guest on, it helps getting a new perspective so that it's not just always me and Angela, but it also gives them an opportunity to share it with their audiences who may have never heard of us.
Yeah.
So that's another reason why we're really excited to bring on guests more in our Marketing Moms Monthly membership, because we will be able to get aspects or insights from people who are more specialized in things than maybe Angela and I are. So like we have our opinions. We're always going to have our opinions.
Right.
But it's nice to bring in someone who maybe has a little more experience, insight, knowledge, know-how on a specific topic, and let them share as well. And we're going to be doing that much more in our Marketing Moms Monthly membership.
Those were really fun episodes too.
They were. I think the reason we don't necessarily do more guests is because it is a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work to now not only figure out mine and Angela's 2 schedules, but now adding a third person on there as well. That makes it a little more challenging. And not only that, Angela and I have also been very real about the fact that we're typically sitting here in our bathrobes, hair's not done, no makeup. So when we have guests, we actually get dressed. There's that.
Right. Yeah. I have to actually look professional.
Which is funny because now, since we're finishing this recording a few hours after we started it, Angela and I are both dressed now. And I'm like, who are you? Right. I'm not used to seeing you. You look put together. I'm sure she's thinking the same thing. Like, wow, Jess, you clean up nice.
Oh,
wow. I just put words in your mouth, but I'm okay with it. Okay. Number 9. It's okay to explore different formats. This kind of goes along with the just because you've always done something one way doesn't mean you need to continue. We have tried different formats for our podcast. Like we've done the podcasting. There was a short, I'm talking like maybe 2-week period in the last 2 years where we tried to go ahead and record video.
Yeah.
And you know what? Those couple shorts that we put on Instagram didn't really get traction. It was just, again, we weren't dressed. We weren't put together. Not that anybody cares, because I'm sure those of you listening would appreciate our real and rawness. But to me, it was like, why go through the extra effort of trying to post video when we did the YouTube Reels, which typically Reels are gonna show you faster what people are interested in, and it just didn't seem like they were that interested. So I was like, and we stopped it pretty quickly, which takes us back to Number 2, not all ideas are winners.
Yes. Yeah. We did add YouTube to our thing. Like we do post on YouTube, but it's not a video of us. If you go look at us on YouTube, you're not going to get to see us in our bathrobes and messy hair trying to record that.
Yeah. It's just audio.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to put it on YouTube because, hey, like we said, we get a couple comments over there, and that's really nice to be able to chat with people on a specific episode.
Yeah.
By putting it over there. And then I will say that a lot of podcasters say that video is the way.
Yeah.
And it's very cool and it's very important. But again, this goes back to taking a stance.
Yeah.
My personal feelings are, if you are set up more like a studio where you've got a couple different camera angles and you have a team of editors and you're trying to make this a full production, good for you. I'm sure it's great and people are going to watch. It just didn't work for us. And that's something else to understand, is that what works for one person or one family or one podcaster or one podcasting group is not going to work for all. And I think that's what is really hard with people who teach things online. And why I feel like Angela and I are always these are options you could try. Yeah. These are things you could do, and they may not work for you. They work great for us. They might not work for you. Or same vice versa. People have said video works great on podcasts. It didn't work great for us.
It did not, no.
But it might be great for you.
Yeah.
So I think that's just another thing, is like, we can take a stance, but we can also say it can be different for you, and that's okay. Yeah. We all don't have to do things the same way. We don't all have to agree.
Yeah. So.
And then last but not least, number 10, we are role models. That was a really hard one, I think, because not only are we role models for moms with businesses, we're role models for other people trying to podcast, perhaps.
Yeah.
We're role models for our children, seeing what we're doing, what we're putting our effort into for our time, for our extracurriculars, really. Because neither one of us consider this podcast as part of our 9-to-5s, right?
Right. Yeah.
Our jobs. This is something extra we do because it's fun. It's for ourselves. And so it's really nice to be able to show our kids that it's okay to put time and effort into your hobbies and your interests, because those matter too.
Yeah, I was surprised, especially because we generally record these after my kids go to school, because my house is crazy enough without my kids in it. So I was surprised that they notice that, they hear me talk about it, but they notice and they ask about the podcast. My oldest one especially will ask about it and how things are going and what we're talking about. So I was kind of surprised they were interested at all, but it does go back to that, we're role models and they see me doing something for fun with a friend. And, so they're interested in that and kind of how I'm handling that. And I think that kind of influences the way they handle things in their little worlds.
Yeah. And also with the summer coming up, they're going to be seeing us a lot more because they're not going off to school.
No. There'll be some interesting episodes, I'm sure.
Oh, for sure. More interesting than this? I don't know.
I don't know about more interesting than this.
I will say that we are also role models online, on Instagram specifically, because that's the platform we've chosen to put we would rather do one platform the best we can versus 5 platforms crappy.
Yeah.
And that's just the way we are. And so we have focused on Instagram, and there are times where I'm like, I don't feel like looking at comments or posting or, sharing or any of these things. There have been times in the past 2 years where I go through slumps. But then I remember, if we don't share our messages of what the reality of being business owners and being moms is like, There are too many people out there showing the highlight reels.
Yeah.
And we just want to share the reel. So, okay, hold on. Highlight reels are EEL, but I mean, we want to share the real REAL.
Well, that's going to have to be an Instagram post now.
We don't want to share the highlight reel. We want to share the reel. So,
yes.
Totally. Make that an Instagram post. And that's what that boils down to. So, and have you ever heard, Angela, I'm sure you have, how when you don't do something, when you don't share your message, when you don't market well enough, you're actually doing a disservice to all those people who need to hear your message.
Yeah.
It's supposed to help. Yeah, I feel like it's supposed to help.
It's supposed to help encourage you.
Yeah, it's supposed to help encourage you, give you that mindset boost so you can break through the barrier of imposter syndrome or just being scared to do something. But it does have a merit to it. It does.
Yeah.
If we don't post, if we don't comment, if we don't share, how can we be sure anybody's out there sharing what's real?
Yeah.
Because that's been our mission.
Yeah.
So there is that. So to recap, number 1, tech issues will, capital WILL, will happen. Seriously, I cannot believe all these tech issues happened today.
Oh, so many today.
I just can't believe it. Number 2, not all ideas are winners. Number 3, getting started with whatever you have. It's totally fine. Just get started. Number 4, planning what you're saying is just not going to happen, or at least for us, it's not going to happen. So we just embraced it. Number 5, plan ahead for time off or busy family schedules or kids getting sick. Number 6, you have to take a stance. Number 7, just because you've always done something one way doesn't mean you have to continue. Number 8, sometimes you just need guests. Number 9, feel free to explore different formats. And number 10, we are role models. So we hope that our 10 hard lessons from our last 100 episodes has helped you, whether it's from a motherhood or business side, or if you're looking into podcasting or thinking about podcasting or have started podcasting. And maybe it kind of helps you now that we've got a couple years under our belt. I feel like we've seen a lot more than we think we have. So hopefully you found at least an ounce of goodness from this. And if you have, find us on Instagram at Marketing Moms Podcast. Let us know, tag us, share your journey with us. In fact, if you do have a podcast, share it with us. We would love to promote you and listen and support you in any way we can. So until next week, bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us today. We're so honored this is where you chose to spend your time.
If this episode helped you in some way, please share it with another mom who needs to hear it. We're in this together.
And if you're ready for next steps, free goodies, and more, head over to marketingmomspodcast.com.
We'll see you next week.